Hello students, today we are going to discuss the soils of India. Now the first thing, what is actually the soil? Now if you have to describe soil in a very simple manner, it is the topmost covering of the earth's surface. Soil is actually the thin layer of loose mixture of small rock particles and rotting organic matters that cover much of the world's land surface. The topmost covering of the surface of the earth is actually the soil. You can also say it is the layer of and soft and fine materials which cover the surface of the earth and on which the plants actually grow. Now, soil is actually formed. Formation of soil takes place as a result of the breakdown of the rocks. The rocks that are there on the surface of the earth due to temperature, due to rainfall, due to humidity and other elements of nature, that is wind, running water, is that these rocks actually break down. They break down into smaller pieces as a result of what we call weathering. It can be mechanical, it can be chemical. Now, as these rocks break down, they are transported to other places by the agents of erosion like running water, wind, glaciers that are there, and in the process they break down further and convert it into smaller pieces, and over a period of time these pieces or finer pieces develop into what we call the soil. Actually, the soil formation takes place over millions of years. Its evolution takes place over millions of years. It is not that any formation of soil from the process of breaking to the formation of soil can take anything between 250 to 1000 years. Now, soil fertility actually to a large extent depends on the minerals from which the soil has been formed. The rock which may contain mineral, the same minerals are normally found into the soil. Also to some extent humus, which basically means decomposed vegetative materials, it also adds to the fertility of the soil. Now, why soil is important to us? Obviously, soil is important because it is from the soil we produce crops. It is also the soil which supports various life forms that are there on the surface of the earth. It can be animals, it can be bacteria, viruses, earthworms, rats, etc., etc. Apart from it, the structures like buildings, construction of roads and every other thing that is going on the surface of the earth, it obviously takes place on the soil. Also, it is the soil from which we normally get the mineral resources. We have to dig the soil and thereafter only we can reach the mineral resources. Now the next thing, soil fertility. Soil fertility actually refers to the strength of the soil to support plant life. Now, soil normally should have nutrients, particularly nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Just for your information, if a soil contains any two of these nutrients, normally that soil is considered fertile. Though there are other nutrients also, like iron is there, lime is there, but these three are the most important nutrients which a soil should have, which actually determines its fertility. Another thing about the soil, it should have sufficient depth, गहराई होना चाहिए, so that the plants can grow easily in the soil. It should have adequate amount of moisture or water retention capacity, so that it can help the plants to grow, and also it should have some amount of organic matter or humus content. Organic matter, it comes from the decomposition of the vegetation and ultimately adds to the fertility of the soil. Now, before going further, one more thing that you should know is that is soil profile or soil horizon. Now, if we take a vertical cross section of the soil, that is, if we dig the surface of the earth from top to bottom, the soil profile or soil horizon can be found. That is, first a topmost layer, which is normally referred to as the O, then A, B, and obviously C. O actually is the organic matter. Organic matter which comes from decomposition of the leaves. Now, in some soils it may be thick, in some soils it may be very thin also, and in some soils it may not be present at all. Organic matter may not be present at all. Then when we refer to the next horizon, that is A, it actually refers to the topsoil, in which most of the minerals of the parent rock is present. Most of the minerals that are present in this layer of the soil. Then the B horizon is actually the subsoil region. It is also rich in minerals, particularly those minerals which are leached down from this topsoil are deposited in this layer. That is due to the rainfall. Rainwater, as it percolates down, it takes some amount of minerals and deposit them in the subsoil. This is also the region where roots of the plants can reach. Roots of the plants can reach up to this layer. And the third, or the C horizon, it is actually composed of parent material or the rocks by which the the soil has been actually formed. It is from this only the topsoil is actually derived. In this one you can find still the presence of rocks that may be there. It is, you can say, it is a type of bedrock also. Just for your information, there are also two more layers. Between A and B there is actually a layer called E, and after C there is actually a layer called R. Though they are not important, just for your information only. E layer is normally between the A and B. This is the layer which is normally formed of leached materials that are from the subsoil, and it is R layer is actually the bedrock layer, pieces of rock which can be found in this layer without any soil conversion as such. Now, the soils that are there on the surface of the earth, they can be classified on the basis of formation. If we go on the basis of formation, the soil can be residual or sedimentary soil, or it can be transported soil. Residual soils actually are formed in situ. In fact, most of the soil, all the soils that is there, they are formed in their original position only by breaking up of the parent rock materials. In fact, when you talk of the residual soils, these are soils like black soil, red soil, laterite soil, desert soil. They are residual soils. Transported soil, these are the soils which are transported by various agents of erosion like running water, wind, and deposited by rivers. Alluvial soil basically is a transported soil. Now in India, the Indian Council of Agricultural Research had actually undertaken a study where it was found that in India almost 27 different soil types are found, out of which 8 soil types were the major ones, that included alluvial soil, black soil, red and yellow soil, then laterite soil, then desert or arid soil, then mountain soil, then there is saline soil and forest soil. These were the 8 major types that were identified. But in your syllabus, only 6 soil types are there. Saline and forest soil are not there in as part of your syllabus. So we will be discussing these first 6 type of soils only. Let's start with the first one, that is alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is actually the most important soil type of India. It covers almost 46% of the country's land area. Now, if you look at the alluvial soil, it is obviously found along the Indo-Gangetic plains. You can find a part of this into the Brahmaputra valley. Then you can find the presence of this soil along the coastal areas, particularly deltas of Mahanadi, then Godavari, then Krishna, Kaveri. Apart from this, along this, almost from the area of Rajasthan, almost through a narrow corridor, the soil can also be found in parts of Gujarat also. This soil can be found. It is the most extensive soil type that is found in our country. Now, alluvial soil is something, it is formed by sediments which have been brought down by rivers. In fact, these are the soils which have been formed as a result of deposition of alluvium. Now, it is actually a soil which is a mixture of sand, clay and silt, and as a result of which basically it is called loam or loamy soil also. This soil is very rich in potash and lime. This soil is considered as highly fertile soil because it has been formed as a result of deposition of sediments brought down by the rivers. Now this soil is actually light grey in color, and this soil is what we call comparatively more fertile compared to the other soils that are there. Now this soil is also sometimes called riverine soil, obviously because it has been formed by deposits brought down by the rivers, and found along the banks of the river. That's why riverine soil. Then it is also sometimes known as deltaic soil, found along the delta regions of the rivers. It is also sometimes known as coastal alluvium, as it is found in the coastal regions. Now, this soil actually is divided into two types, what we call as khadar and bhangar. Khadar is actually new alluvium which is found along the river valleys, and it is bhangar is actually the old alluvium found slightly away from the river valleys. Obviously, khadar soil is more fertile, bhangar soil is less fertile. This is actually light in color, this is dark, slightly darker in color. This soil is fine grained, but it is normally coarser, and in case of the bhangar there is presence of conker nodules, though it is present in case of the khadar, but their presence in case of the bhangar is comparatively much more. Now the alluvial soils that are there, these alluvial soils in different parts of our country, they are known by different names. Actually, when the rivers of the Himalayas, suppose this is the Himalayan mountain, at the foothills of the Himalayas, the deposition, due to the deposition brought down by the rivers, especially in Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh regions, you would find presence of alluvial soil which is normally known as bhabar. In fact, this soil has got presence of stones in it. In fact, as a result of the presence of stones, you would find the water content is almost negligible or nil. This is, if you look at the map of India, just at the base of the foothill of the Shivalik region, it can be found just 8 to 10 kilometer wide, and in an east-west formation, this bhabar soil is normally found, but the term is more used in Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh region. Just beyond it, there is another type which we call as tarai. Here it will be tarai, then the river, suppose this is the river, along it, here will be the khadar, and away from the river it will be bhangar. Tarai is comparatively more fertile compared to the bhabar. Most of the tarai region or tarai area in the west, this part actually has been cleared and made way for agriculture, but in the eastern part of the country you can find that in the tarai region it is forested, marshy region and covered by dense jungles where presence of wild animals is also there. But here most of it has been cleared to make way for agriculture. Now one more thing, especially the soil, alluvial soil which is found in Ganga, Yamuna, Doab region. Doab, I hope you remember, in the first chapter we had discussed, it is the land which is found in between two rivers. The soil that is found in the Doab region in between Ganga and Yamuna, slightly at higher elevation, it is actually known as Bhur. It is known as Bhur soil. And the alluvial soil only which is found away from the river valleys, basically it is called bhangar, but those soils which have high saline content, which may be as a result of salt, presence of salt, or due to excessive irrigation. These soils have presence of soil, especially in the Haryana region. The Bhangar soils are known as Ray or Kolar. Now, in Punjab, the new alluvium is known as Bet, and the old alluvium is known as Dhaya. New alluvium in Punjab is known as Bet, and old alluvium is known as Dhaya. Well, the alluvial soil obviously is light and porous. The drier areas, of course, soils are more alkaline. Apart from it, these soils are highly fertile soil, most important soil of India. It is widely used for cultivation of all kinds of crop, but most commonly this soil is used for cultivation of rice, jute, sugarcane, various kinds of pulses, cotton, etc. Most common type of soil that is found in our country. Now let's move on to the next soil, that is black soil. Black soil covers roughly 16.6% of the country's area. It is widely found in the Deccan Plateau, especially in the Maharashtra Plateau area, parts of Gujarat. This soil is also found in parts of Madhya Pradesh, parts of Karnataka, parts of Andhra Pradesh, and little area of Tamil Nadu. Now, black soil actually has been formed as a result of decomposition of lava. In fact, its color is black mainly because of the fact that it has been formed as a result of decomposition of the lava. This soil is quite rich in calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash, iron, and lime. The soil has high water retention capacity, which often makes it clayey in nature. In fact, this soil, when there is high water retention, when there is presence of high amount of moisture, it is almost sticky. But when during the drier season, when the soil becomes dry, cracks appear in this soil, which of course helps in the aeration of the soil also. Now, black soil is also popularly known as Regur soil. Actually, from the Telugu word Regeda, it is known as Regur soil. Telugu word, it actually means cotton. As cotton grows best in this type of soil, it is also known as black cotton soil. Now, some of the major crops that are grown in this type of soil, apart from cotton, there is of course wheat, then sugarcane. Also, this soil is suitable for banana plantations. Also, groundnut is grown in this type of soil. Now, let's move on to the next type of soil, this type, the red soil. Now, the red soil that is there, red soil actually covers roughly about 10.6% of the country's area. Now, this soil is widely found in isolated patches from Tamil Nadu to Bundelkhand region. In the eastern side, you can find it up to the Rajmahal hills, and in the western, you can also find them in the Kutch region. In fact, you can find the presence of this soil in the northeastern part of the country. You can find them in Meghalaya, Manipur, Mizoram, also Nagaland area, widely in the area of Orissa, Andhra, Telangana, Tamil Nadu regions. You can find them in isolated patches throughout the different parts of the country. Now, this soil, red soil, its topmost portion obviously is red and below it is slightly yellowish in color. Its texture varies from sandy to clay. The soil is highly porous in nature, that is water passes easily. This soil normally is not considered as a rich, nutrient rich soil, but the soil is rich in potassium and phosphate, though it is coarse grained in many places. This soil, though not fertile, but with the addition of fertilizers and irrigation, if fertilizers and irrigation is used, then this soil can be used for cultivation. Okay, this soil widely is used for the cultivation of what we call millets, especially ragi, rice, tobacco, groundnut, potatoes are widely grown in this type of soil. One more thing about the red soil, it is also sometimes referred to as omnibus group, mainly because it has been formed as a result of granite and gneiss rock formations, and the color red, no need to tell you, is simply because of the fact that this soil has got presence of iron oxides in them, as a result of which it is red in color. Now, coming to the next type of soil, this time it is the laterite soil. Laterite soil covers 7.5% of the country's area. This soil can be found in areas which is marked by heavy rainfall followed by high temperature and also followed by a dry periods. So you can find the presence of this soil along the Western Ghat region, northeastern part of the country also has got this type of soil. High temperature, high rainfall areas have got this type of soil. The word laterite has been taken from the Latin word later, which actually means brick-like, because the topmost portion of the soil becomes hard and almost brick-like. That's why it is known as the laterite soil. The soil is highly acidic in nature because due to the leaching, most of the nutrients of the soil are deposited below the topsoil region. Fertilizers and manures are required to make this soil cultivable. This soil is rich in iron and bauxite. In fact, the presence of iron gives it a reddish color. The soil is very poor in organic matters. This soil also can be, as it is found in the high rainfall areas, it can be divided as upland laterite and lowland laterite. Upland laterite obviously found in the higher margins of the hills and lowland laterite in the lower part of the hills. This soil is suitable for growing rice, sugarcane and plantation crops like tea, ragi and cashew nuts are also grown in this type of soil. Next soil is obviously desert soil. Desert soil is found along the desert area of the country, that is the Rajasthan area, parts of Punjab, Haryana and parts of Gujarat have this type of soil. This soil, desert soil, covers roughly 4% of the country's land area. This is actually wind blown soil and formed as a result of wear and tear of mechanical weathering of the rocks in the desert regions. Now, this soil has very higher percentage of soluble salts in it. It has very low organic matter and also low nitrogen content. In fact, the sand content in this soil is almost 90 to 95% and the clay content is just 5 to 10%. This soil has very low water retention capacity, though phosphates and nitrate make this soil fertile if moisture is available, that is irrigation should be available. Now generally this soil is yellow brown in color and it can be used for cultivation with the help of irrigation, of course. It can be used for cultivation of barley, it can be used for cultivation of cotton, millets and pulses. Also it can be used for cultivation of watermelon and also dates. Last soil is the mountain soil, which normally is found about covers about 8.67% of the country's area. Now the hilly areas, mountainous region, that is the Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh area, northeastern part of the country and other hilly regions have this type of soil. This soil can be divided as peat soil, meadow soil, it can be divided as forest soil and also hill soils. This soil, especially in the valley sides, it is loamy and silty, but as one goes higher up, it becomes coarser in upper slopes. In fact, in snow-covered areas, this soil is highly acidic and hardly have any humus content. In fact, the character of the soil, mountain soil, changes with altitude. जो हम लोग ऊपर की तरफ जाएंगे, इसका character change होते रहता है. In the lower part, of course, this soil is rich in humus, but in the upper part, when the snow cover is there, it is not at all rich in humus. Lower part, you can find presence of potash, lime, phosphorus. Potash, lime, phosphorus normally are not found in this type of soil, and also to a large extent this soil compared to all the other soil is very thin, because as it is formed in the slopes, it is very thin in nature. In fact, it is very immature and dark brown in color. Now normally this type of soil in our country is used for plantations, particularly tea, coffee, it is used, and in the hilly areas by cutting the hill into hill slopes into terraces, it is used for rice cultivation and also fruit cultivation is done in this type of soil. Now in this video only up to this portion. In the next video I will discuss the second part of the chapter, that is soil erosion.